Welcome back, boxing fans. It's EBA 101, and I'm here the day of the fight of Canelo Alvarez versus Billy Joe Saunders. This is going to be a unification of 3 belts in the super middleweight division at 168. I think this is going to be one of the most interesting fights to see from Canelo in a while, just for the pure factor that it is going to be a different style that he is facing. This Billy Joe Saunders tends to move a lot around the ring. He seems to be great, in the best shape of his life. So I know he's preparing to move all 12 rounds if he has to. And we'll really kind of start seeing where Canelo is with his power, because right now he has been looking really, really strong, but it's been always against opponents that kind of sit in the pocket and stay there, don't move. So it's easier to set up your power shots when they're just kind of covering up or not moving around. And we'll see how his stamina as well, I know, kind of follows along, because he's been better as of late, and probably in this heavier weight classes with his stamina, but he hasn't had to chase someone down as well. I think Billy Joe Saunders has something different, and we'll see how Canelo really reacts to it. I think over the years Canelo has learned how to fight differently, or different opponents and different styles, and I think his experience with, even though Lara was a while back and it was probably a little bit different, like Lara tends to move way more and just box. Billy Joe stays in there a little bit more sometimes, and both were southpaws. I feel like he's still going to be able to hit that body. His body attack should be still there. I will be interested to see if he can stop Billy Joe Saunders, because I feel that would make a pretty good statement. And hopefully the winner of this fight ends up fighting Caleb Plant for undisputed at 168, and that would be just great for boxing. I know a lot of the boxing fights are happening recently. Mayweather did his promotion thing this week. He's always been a mastermind of promotion, and he tends to always have big news around where Canelo's fighting, even though he says that Gervonta Davis is a face of boxing. And I understand where he's coming from. He's a promoter and everything, but let's be realistic. Gervonta Davis is not anywhere close to the Canelo level of being the face of boxing. Maybe in the future, if he continues winning and Canelo goes off into the sunset, or he starts losing, potentially. But right now, there's no competition regarding that, at least from Gervonta Davis. I would believe it more if it would have been said Tyson Fury, right? Tyson Fury was all over the scene in the weigh-ins and this weekend, showing up support for Billy Joe Saunders. He was working the crowd. He's Viva Mexico, and everything. But he's of course going to support Billy Joe Saunders. He's a friend of his, and I know fans might get angry. Oh no, well Canelo, he's entitled to his own opinion, and if your friend is fighting, of course you're gonna be pulling for him. So it's understandable. But he himself is master of promotion and taking advantage of this time. And I think he mentioned, I saw an interview, he bought a house in Vegas. So Tyson Fury probably be doing more interviews or living more over here in the US. But Tyson of course chose Billy Joe Saunders to win. There's been a lot of news around this fight that maybe it would have been called off because of the ring size. That got fixed. The fight is going on. There was something about the judges, and this is something that again, a lot of people criticize Canelo for, having these stipulations or anything, but he gave up some 2 feet in the ring, and hopefully it's an entertaining fight. I think it is going to be the most difficult fight Canelo has had, just based on the movement. Amir Khan had fast hands, but he didn't have that exact movement that Billy Joe Saunders has. So it will be interesting to be fighting. Billy hasn't really looked so great in his last couple fights, but I feel like he always is like Tyson Fury, where the higher the level of competition, I think the higher level he fights at. And Canelo, it's time for him to show some of the critics. I know that a lot of people have been wanting him to fight other opponents. I've myself criticized him before in the past, but he keeps on fighting champions after champions. It doesn't matter what style it is. If he's fighting champions and becomes undisputed at 168, and after that, and if he fights Benavidez or one of the Charlos or whoever it is, Andrade, Andrade, he needs to fight some other champions too, or get a belt 168 as well. If people bring him up, but he's in the still 160, so he needs to come up and make some noise there too. But Canelo's having a very solid career. I believe he is becoming close to one of those Mexican greats. I know a while back they were already claiming him, but I think finally he has been building the resume, and if he beats Billy Joe Saunders, which I do have him beating Billy Joe Saunders, I think it's going to be a close fight, and I think that's why Billy wanted a bigger ring, and he wanted a more fair, which everybody wants a fair scorecard and stuff like that. He's worried, he's concerned, he understands that a lot of the Canelo's fights have been very close, and I still state to this day that the first Triple G fight, I felt that Canelo lost that fight, but who am I to say against the judges? It's already in the record, but Canelo has been, besides that, been pretty good in all the other fights. There's been some close rounds where he takes a lot of the rounds off, so that's okay when there's an opponent that's right in front of you to take one or two rounds off, and but when it's an opponent that's slick or moving around, you can't be giving those round away, because if he is sitting down flat-footed, like how a lot of people say, and he loses 1 or 2, 3, 4 rounds, it's going to be clear rounds that he loses. I don't think it's going to be close. So if he takes it off, right? So he has to put on the pressure consistently, learn from the Lara and Mayweather fight that he has to throw volume punches as well when someone is moving, and just if you're not landing as much, at least showing that you're aggressively way more than the other person and landing around the same, but even if you have to throw 2 or 3 times more as the opponent. But that is it, guys. Hopefully it's in a great event. Hopefully the judges scorecards resemble what it's supposed to be, and I'm very interested to see the results of this. Billy Joe Saunders, and not a lot of people might know him here in the States or a lot of the Hispanic community, but maybe his style is going to bore some of them or might get them mad, but that's his style. And in boxing you have to be able to fight different styles, and this is another way to experience Canelo to fight other different styles that he might fight in the future. Like if he ever fights Andrade, Andrade fights different than Billy Joe Saunders, but just acclimating him to different styles, not just always like the same style that he fights, is great. And then it also kind of quiets the critics, and a lot of people hate on him and this and that, which I don't hate on him, but I understand some of those criticisms, which are very legit, but some other people are just like legitimately just overboard criticizing him, and you're never gonna make everybody happy in this game, and he's been doing very well for himself. So continue on what you're doing, Canelo, and I'll be supporting, watching the fight. I'll be driving home to watch the fight with my family, so hopefully you guys do the same. I know it's a great event, and I had a couple friends go watch the fight live, so I was jealous. Her husband got the flags, the Mexican flag signed by Julio Cesar Chavez, which I'm so jealous. But like, comment, subscribe down below.